We're going to seek aid from the spirits, put our hands together and pray to R and Jesus. We give you all the money. What is our prize? Our prize is impotence. Wow. Hey, I'm Feedbackgaming, and this is Crusader Kings III. Are you ready for me to break the hardest achievement? Mother of us all. Unite Africa and convert the entirety of Africa to an African religion. This took me a total of 19 hours streamed on Twitch TV. It is one hell of an achievement. In this video, I'm going to go through all the shortcuts, cheats, exploits, little ways of tricking the game in different ways, shapes, and forms. Get this achievement as quickly and efficiently as possible. I say this because the path I took wasn't the most efficient. So I'm going to tell you what you should do to make this as streamlined and straightforward just for you. New game, 867, The Great Adventures, Durama Dura. So you start out as a tribal countess. You have one son that is not part of your dynasty. You have an opportunity to change path and make it a female-dominated nation. Let's go. Well, here we are. Dubura, you start off with 2 counts. You are married to your husband, the High Chieftain of Kano, and you have a single son, a single heir. What are the first things you need to do? My recommendation, August is important because it allows you to farm lots of prestige. Prestige is important because that links directly into your men-at-arms for tribal governments. And what men-at-arms do I recommend? Light footmen, and once again, light footmen. You want to artificially make your army size as large as possible to prevent anyone from ganging up on you or raiding you, or even your husband turning on you. So you start out as the Bori religion. Is you a purist, which means converting is difficult, and being that you're tribal makes it even more difficult. And 2, you've got full equality. It allows you to have any council member be male or female. It allows you to get the best possible stats on your council. The downside is it makes successions really messy. With men and women inheriting equally means there's more heirs, then there's more dividing of your realm. The resource that will hold you back early on is going to be money. Because what you want to do is create your duchy title so you can hand out vassals so you can expand further. So first of all, declare your wars. Now here's the important event. You can select any of these 3 options to still get the achievement. But be wary, this will have a big impact on your campaign. First option will make your existing son the heir to your counts as well as your husband's duchies, which is great because it consolidates your realm after when both of you die. The downside is you can have equal succession, which once again, as I said, creates messy successions. The next option makes your husband happy, but leaves you with no heir, so you could end up with a game over when you die, so don't go for this one. And the final option, the correct option, means you disinherit your son, you change your whole country to female preference, and form your own dynasty path. This is the path you want to go for. The reason why this is the best preference is it limits the amount of heirs, so therefore creates less issues with succession and partition. Go. To make sure you get the most piety, make sure you've got all your concubines. And you're going to need it because you're not going to have any direct successors to your realm, so you need to get as many kids as early as possible. So get everyone as your concubines. Okay, first conquest. Going to push for another goal again. He's got 655 levies. Conquer goal. Vastly inferior army size compared to ours. And off you go. To grind a little bit of prestige, my advice is to fight their army to begin with. Win an easy battle. In this case, I'd siege it down, but we've already captured the leader, so we can take it. And once again, pushing further westward. Mid-war, my advice is to ransom as many off as you can to make as much money as you can. Another opportunity to engage his army, I'm going to take it, and I'm also going to siege his capital to try and get as many prisoners as I can. So this is the first problem we've run into now. We're over our domain limit. Problem is, every time you conquer now and get more counts, you're going to end up stacking a bigger and bigger penalty. You need to create your first duchy title, and this is the best one to go for. You need 125 gold. So that's actually the first thing you want to check is see if you can ransom anyone off. Next best bet is to go on a raid. Look for the ones that don't have the flaming torch because those have already been raided. But a little extra 15 gold here. Easy. And here too. And that's an easy 18 gold. Another 18 gold from raiding. Maybe you in the north. Brought back the gold. Another 15 gold. And now we can create our duchy title. Created. Boom. Now we've gone up a rank. We've got another option for another men-at-arms slot. My advice is more light footmen. Use that prestige. Max it out. Next up, you want to go for the kingdom title. You need to do this as quickly as possible, because if your husband takes 1 count off you, it's going to deny you from making this. You will be able to vassalize him because you've got the true ruler trait. Let's push further southwards. Ding. Easy. Now, continue to push to capture more land inside of Hasseland. Declare. County. Won the war. Peace out. Right, we have the ability now to create the Kingdom of Hasseland. But once again, money is holding us back. We need to create one more duchy tile and then create the kingdom tile. So we're going to need quite a lot of gold. It's time to do what we do best. Raiding. Seeing as I'll be able to get higher relations with my husband regardless, I'm going to sway him and simultaneously also divorce him. And now we're going to marry based on someone who's an amazing steward. I'm going to tell him to manage the domain plus 10 to stewardship. And that gives an extra 2 domain size. Another option to push further south as well. Keep an eye on the allies. Eventually you're going to declare war on someone and they might have a big ally. And it's going to cause you a lot of problems. Okay, more conquest. Push further south. Right, we desperately need money now. So do you know what you do for money? That's right, raiding. 15 gold. Here to go for another capital. 15 gold. Another loot. Hot loot spots, another 15 gold here too, and that's another 15 gold. And there we go, enough raid money. Create kingdom tile, kingdom of Hassaland. There we go. Our husband, will you become our vassal? He's very, very close. Send him a gift. I think that might tip him over the edge. Offer vassalage +1. We'll just say yes. This is my domain. Ex-husband into vassal. Get underneath me. All right, we have new enemies to the east now. We need to push eastward to set up a capital city right here on the floodplains. This is a perfect place for a capital. 2 reasons. 1, floodplain is good for development. And 2, we can build a special building here. Can we get a duchy war? Yep, inferior army size, 250 prestige. What a steal. Off we go. And we can get a bowman now as well. Max that bowman out. All right, raise the levies. We've got a big army to take on here. 2,000 versus 4,000. Looks like an easy win to me. Yeah, winner, winner, chicken dinner. They're occupying. Every time we capture a combatant, trying to ransom him off straight away. It's a really good way of making some money. Done. Duchy is now mine. Right, we need to revoke this title here. So let's pass limited crown authority. And let's use our priestess to fabricate a claim. And we're also going to convert culture here. And then we'll also improve development. If we time everything just right, we can reform our religion within a lifetime. So let's do a pilgrimage and milk that piety. We're going to seek aid from the spirits, put our hands together and pray to our and Jesus. We give you all the money. What is our prize? Our prize is impotence. Wow. Good job, I've already got 8 kids, eh? To reform the religion how we'd like, we need at least 4,000 piety. So we better get saving. Next innovation, we're going to look for the next exposure bonus. And that is under quilted armor. 40% extra exposure gives us quilted armor quicker, so that's the one we want to go for. Here's impotent. Might as well just go for celibate. It won't make any much difference. And also hold feasts, and because my religion is ritual celebrations, I gain piety for that. I'm going to attempt to stack that piety as high as it can go early on. We can now start building development in our soon-to-be capital. Oh dear, you've gained a beast. No more feasts for me. You gain the witch trait. This is quite useful. It allows you to go for Witch's Cove. That allows you to get these bonuses. All I have to do is convert 60% of my adult's house to witch. So first of all, I'll start by converting the heir. There we go. Converted to witchcraft. Next, I'm going to go into the character finder, select only members of my dynasty, and then convert them all to witchcraft. It's time to lose weight. Boo. There we go. Whole of body. Now we can live about 10 to 15 years longer. Now we need to work towards profit so we can reform our religion. What I'm going to do too is change my lifestyle focus to theology to get the extra piety. We can go for high tribal authority now, and we can also revoke this title, 100% chance. Yes. Okay, we can also move our capital now. Move realm to here. And this is going to be our new capital that we're going to build up to 10 development. And then we'll convert culture around it and improve the development around it. All right, we've converted enough people to witchcraft now. We've got 60% of our house is now witches. So now we can form the Witch's Cove. Boom. And we get all the juicy bonuses that come with it. And also the ability to hold a grand right. Gains you some really insane bonuses. Gain a martial perk or lose 50 stress. There you go. Free martial perk. 4,200 piety. We can reform our religion now. Reform the Bori faith. First of all, we're going to change from purist to fundamentalist, which increases conversion speed by 20%. Very helpful. Next up, we're going to change out the tenants. We're going to go for sanctioned false conversions. This prevents conversions, and it also increases conversion resistance. Next up, medicant preachers. It's really useful because it increases conversion speed. And finally, the last one is completely optional, but I personally like warmonger. 7,500 piety is required, but when we get profit, we can get it half price. Quilted armor is complete. Let's check for the next exposure bonus, and it's under Banus. Let's go for that, and that'll be done in 12 years. So what we're aiming towards now is to feudalize. Absolute crown authority, we'll get that eventually. Organize the Bori faith. We'll get that eventually. Level of fame, level 2. Level 10 development in capital. We're working on it. We're really close. But here we go. Here's the tricky one. Has all tribal era innovations. This takes on average about 100, going on 150 years of in-game time. It's a tricky one. The best way to speed up innovations is to improve development and also focus on innovations that have the exposure bonus. Let's roll the dice. Seek aid from the spirits, and they give me strong. That's really good. Better than impotence. All right, we are now a prophet. We can now reform the Bori faith. All our 15 vassals will convert. Reform the faith. Here we go. That's a lot of piety I just spent. And now we have old Bori mixed with regular Bori. So let's briefly just go over succession. We've been really lucky this time. We've only had one daughter. So that means all of our titles go to our new daughter when we die. In the event that we had multiple heirs, let's say 4 or 5, that could cause a lot of problems. So in that case, you might want to disinherit them. Time to work on our inheritance. Let's make some money. Golden obligations. Everyone we've got a hook on. Give me your money, please. Also, prisoners. Yeah, that's right. All those ransoms. Okay, so this is my domain, and this results in free cash. Extort subjects, dread, and cash. So just to let you know, the downside to this is when you use dread as a way of controlling your vassals, it tends to come creeping back at you once your heir succeeds the throne. If you want to make your life easier, don't ever use dread as a method of controlling your vassals. Always work on boosting relations. But what can I say?
I like money.
Marry off daughters for swordsmen and accountants. I'll make a great father. If our realm was going to shatter on inheritance, I'd care about secondary kingdom titles. But in this case, I don't. The truth is if the realm was going to split into maybe 3 pieces, what I would do is make one of the counts in here. See, it's 7 of 7, so we need to drop below 1. What we do is select one of them, right click on them, and define one that will say yes. They will grant independence. It'll make it independence, and that means that kingdom title will not be created in here due to Confederate partition, which, if you're not aware, creates titles on succession. It makes them out of thin air. Next innovation, check the one that's got the exposure bonus. And in this case, it is the onager. Hey, siege equipment. Nice. The end is near. I will be dead within a year. Whoa, my husband's a giant. He's a big lad. And I am dead. Long live the grand Magia. Yeah. So this is a pretty straightforward succession. I inherit 100% of the tiles. It's almost like I'm primogenitor. So the path right now is to max out my development at 10. We're at 12. In this case, we now go for the secondary ones, the ones that are nearby, and we convert them to our culture group. In this case, yeah, this one's been converted. So we'll just go for this one, we'll say. This one's quite special because it's got a special building slot, which you can get when you're feudalized. The same thing again. Going to tell my husband to manage the domain. This gives an extra few domain slots. And we've already got scholar. How convenient. So in this case, we go for development. And if we find out we're about to die, we can just reset our perks and put everything back into whole of body. Convenient. So unfortunately, this part is a little bit boring. So as I mentioned, succession is an issue you're going to have to run into. And as you can see, 2 titles are about to be spread out. That when I die, the realm's going to split into 2. But the good news is when you inherit, you'll be able to annex the remainder of the realm and consolidate them once again. If it's only 2 kingdoms, it's not even a big deal. If it's 3, that's when things start to get a bit messy. But for the most part, as you can see here, look at all these. All the counts here, the main duchy, the main kingdom title. It's pretty clockwork. So in this case, this is just really not a big deal at all. So the initial objective now is to feudalize. So the only thing we really need to do now is get all the innovations. Because this is an absolutely massive achievement, I'm going to continue the rest of this video with my Twitch live streams. So as you can see here, I'm close to feudalizing. So when I realize this, I want to go for my empire title of Kanem Boru. So I very quickly push eastwards, gobbling up as many duchies as possible to form my empire title. My theory is that if you control more land directly when you feudalize, you'll get the most amount of holdings for free. What I also did on my capital region is build as many cities as possible. This allows me to increase the development as much as possible by building guilds. I want to try and stack that development as high as it can possibly go. The benefits of high development is not only quicker innovations, it also is more levy size and more tax and more supply within the regions. So you've got your empire title. Now you need to make sure your realm doesn't shatter into 1,000 parts. And you want to keep your empire title and your main kingdom title on your main successor. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. One, you go for partition as quickly as possible. Partition means you won't create extra kingdom titles. It will all be centralized on one big fat kingdom title. Alternatively, you can add laws for each of the primary titles, the main duchy, the main kingdom title, and the main empire title. And in most cases, if your ruler is liked or feared, the one you vote for will be the one all your vassals vote for. Be warned, this is very, very risky. Creating multiple empires and multiple kingdoms can cause problems, particularly if the culture groups or the religions below them don't vote for you. And there's a high chance they won't. We shall split your realm and it'll just give you a massive headache. My advice is don't try that method. The good news is now you can start conquering, and you need all of Africa, so you've got a lot of conquering to do. You're going to need a lot of prestige, you're going to need a lot of piety, so pilgrimages as well as hunts are going to be required, and this will mean you'll continue the momentum of pushing for more and more and more land. It kind of gets a bit tedious, but you're going to have to mass hand out the lands to either members of your dynasty, whoever you prefer, or whoever likes you. If you're going for the partition method, don't create any more empire titles. It's tempting, but just don't do it. You could end up in a situation with 2 empires split. On succession, if you don't manage to unify the 2 empires within one war,
you're gonna have a bad time.
For mass conquest, my advice is go for duchy casus bellis as well as duchy holy wars, and also have a quick look to just check how many counties you gain for one of those duchies. Sometimes you can gain up to 4, sometimes even 5, but don't go for the ones where you gain 1 or 2 counties. It's just not worth it. My advice is always go for hold the body every single time. The longer you reign for, the more control you've got. You don't want to spend the first 10 years of your reign tying up loose ends, dealing with factions, dealing with rebels. It's just going to be a nightmare. You want to focus everything on conquest, and living longer is going to help you do that. When you get the ability to use siege weapons, you can start spamming them. You can start deleting your old men-at-arms and then replacing your infantry with siege weapons so that you can mass carpet siege. Aim for the easy wars first. Don't go for the really big ones. The big ones are going to require you to hire a few merc stacks. But at that point, if you've gobbled up so much land, you'll have so many levies that you'll be able to take on the big boys. It may be a long way away, but you want to aim for primogeniture. And then at that point, when you do get primogeniture, you can start creating empire titles. 3 big enemies in this campaign that caused me the most headache was the Spanish Muslims, the Arabs to the east, as well as Byzantium. Their levy size was massive, and there was a few times that I chose not to attack them and just hold back, either try and murder the ruler to try and divide their realm, or wait for the existing ruler to die. Therefore, on succession, they'll be significantly weakened, and then we might be able to pick off those small counties and duchies in North Africa. The easiest way of satisfying your vassals when they're upset with you is to mass gift. Marry someone who has high diplomacy, make him focus on diplomacy in the realm, and then start mass sending gifts to the people who already have high relations. If that doesn't work, gift them vassals, then gift them titles, and never run into an instance where a faction actually got over the threshold that caused me any problems. Also, gifting is really important for any kings or duchies that are above you, to gift them and then tell them to switch to Bori. You need to flip the ones that are Muslims, the Orthodox Christians, and any other religion that isn't Bori. Don't worry about old Bori though, because that doesn't need to be changed. Now, this is the most boring part. You just need to clean up. You've conquered most of Africa, and you just need to start mass converting now. The highest level, high learning, high priestess. Spam that learning, spam that converting on the hardest ones to convert first, the Muslims and the Christians. And then finally, when you've conquered all of Africa, you don't need any of the islands. You don't need the Canaries, and you don't need the island off Arabia. You can hit the decision to form Africa. But you're not done yet. You need to convert everyone else. Remember, you don't need to convert old Bori. Sorry for the lack of content on my YouTube channel recently. This project has been huge. Thank you for your patience.